The
Holy Shonen Trinity.
Trinity.
I'm taking
We're really fucking committing to the yelling the topic.
No, it's better than let's play.
So let's just dive on into this right now. I said this is a discussion video. So the reason why I wanted to discuss this today is because, you know, at work when I'm bored, I stand around protecting people. I think about content that we can do on the channel, and I was thinking, you know what? Why not myself, Red, and David talk about the Holy Shonen Trinity as a whole, not just Naruto, Ichigo, and Bleach, just the idea of the Holy Shonen Trinity and how it affects Jump as a whole. So just to start this off, I'm just going to essentially go by like the history of it.
All right.
Essentially, so the history of the Holy Shonen Trinity technically starts back in the early 90s.
What was the original Holy Shonen Trinity in your opinion?
So the first, so here's what a bunch of fans have stated is like the official thing, because remember, Holy Shonen Trinity isn't technically an official thing. It's just something fans made up. But but Jump isn't stupid. They know. I'm pretty sure they have some old guy watching Twitter or Facebook or whatever.
Hey,
see
that's ageist.
But the point is, okay, so the first three Holy Shonen Trinity back in the early 90s was Dragon Ball Z, Yu Yu Hakusho, and Slam Dunk. That was like the first three.
How did Slam Dunk make it in there?
See,
Have you seen the amount of merch those motherfuckers got?
No, I'm more like it's a sports manga, and like I still don't understand why people like that shit.
Same.
So the second generation of
is this my boy?
Was One Piece,
Bleach,
and what's the Rurouni Kenshin.
Oh, were we not at the One Piece Bleach Naruto yet?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay.
So that was the second generation. You heard the names of the manga, right?
Yeah, it was One Piece, Rurouni Kenshin, and what was the other one?
Hunter x Hunter.
Gotcha. Was it really ever in the? See, I never remember that being in the Shonen Trinity. Like, the only Shonen Trinities I've ever known were the original, Yu Yu Hakusho, Dragon Ball Z competing, and then the Bleach, One Piece, Naruto, and now kind of what we're entering in now. I don't remember that Hunter x Hunter ever.
The Hunter x Hunter, Rurouni Kenshin, and One Piece is late 90s. That's the late 90s. So that's, and then now we have 2000s to 2010s, One Piece, Ichigo, and Naruto. So
my fucking generation.
So the whole idea of One Punch Man, the whole idea of Shonen Trinity has been around for a while now. Now, that being said, is the Holy Shonen Trinity like essentially needed? That's the big question. Is it needed?
Well, no, I mean it's not needed.
Here, Thurman. Here's a great example of what I've been thinking about when you mentioned this video. Look at the franchises that are part of the Holy Shonen Trinity. How much merch do these motherfuckers get versus any other Shonen Jump property?
So yeah, when you brought up this idea for a discussion, his main thing that he got the most kind of triggered about, and understandably so, was I think that when it comes to if it hurts the industry or not, what we could look at is that like there is an inequality of like shows that get like a lot of merchandising, a lot of advertisements. Companies will focus a lot on advertising or pushing these because they're already popular, which can sometimes damage if they were to give a chance to these other ones. So like even I'm waiting to I'm sure it'll happen once it gets an anime, but like Promised Neverland, I'd love to see that get some merch. I'm trying to think of like a manga that's been out for like a while and has a lot of chapters, but like isn't popular enough to have merch. Do you have a good example of that?
I mean, I can even dive into that with Black Clover. I mean, there's T-shirts, but there's not much else aside from that.
Well, and that's interesting because I know Thurman. Do you believe that Black Clover is part of what you'd consider like the new generation of the show?
So I'm glad you brought that up. So let me firstly explain to you why I wanted to talk about this video. And the point that you were making is great. The reason why I brought this video is it got me thinking. It essentially got me thinking of why is the Holy Shonen Trinity so important now? You can tell that a lot of people are caring more about what the big three is in our generation than rather than like in the late 90s. Because if you remember, I wasn't at that time. I was still a fetus, but
fetus, therm.
Not many people really, in my opinion, really cared about the Holy Trinity back then. Because let me explain to you why I think that. I think that it's because nowadays it's so the norm to have like a big three, to have the three that essentially make Jump. I think Jump realizes it. I think that's the reason why Jump now is desperately trying to find their next big three, but One Piece is still there. But their next big two is because that they know that the Holy Trinity is actually a very good selling point.
Right. You make a good point, because like I think that they know that, like, because I remember when I got into manga, I think a lot of people when they get into anime for the first time, they look into what is the most popular, and then like when I got into anime, the big thing that I found was Bleach, Naruto, One Piece. That was like the starter pack of anime fan starter pack.
Even Dragon Ball, for that matter.
Mm-hmm. Well, just to dive into my history, I saw Dragon Ball before I even knew what anime was, and then I saw a commercial for Death Note on Adult Swim, and then from there, that was when I watched Death Note, and I was like, I gotta look into this anime thing. And when I Googled what's some big anime, the ones that popped up were Bleach, Naruto, One Piece. So I just started going in order. I watched Bleach, I got caught up with that. Then I watched Naruto, got caught up with that.
This was a point when you could actually catch up with Naruto.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. You just got to devote time and effort. But
and also skipping all the fucking filler.
Well, this was also before, if I'm remembering correctly. This is, I think, when did Shippuden start?
Okay, Google. When did Naruto Shippuden start?
Here's a summary from Wikipedia.
Thank you,
Directed
Google.
by Hayato Date and produced by Studio Pierrot and TV Tokyo.
Pierrot.
Naruto anime premiered in Japan on TV Tokyo.
Okay.
When? Wait, is it Shippuden or normal?
That's normal. I'm clicking the article.
Soon. Thank you, Google, our lords and saviors, our masters. Hold on, we have
Shippuden started in 2007 and ended in 2017. It ran for 10 fucking years.
Yeah, well, because I remember when I got into anime, it would have been a couple years after that. So I'm pretty sure that the anime was around like when they were fighting like Hidan and shit. When I got into Naruto, like I think they were like fighting Hidan, and Sasuke was like killing Orochimaru. I think it was around that moment. So it wasn't like it hadn't gotten into like the disgustingly bad filler yet. And then of course at some point I moved on to the manga. But either way, I see
Sasuke,
what,
and thanks for watching Disney.
But
Christ, remember that shit?
Yeah, I don't know. Was he ever? Never. Either way, we're getting off topic. But Thurman makes a good point here, and that I think that what he means by that is like, it's a good thing to have for people that want to jump into anime, because it's good to see these popular shows. And I agree. I mean, you got anything for that, David?
I mean, it's great, and it still hurts the industry. And that's where I'm torn here. Like, for those that are just getting into it, like, yeah, you'll see Black Clover, you'll see, My Hero Academia, you'll see, fucking... I don't even know what else at this point, because that third spot's really, really divided.
It could have been Promised Neverland if they didn't drop the fucking ball.
Right? I mean, now it might be Dr. Stone. It might be, fucking the Hinamaru Zumbo.
Dr. Stone's not nearly popular enough to get that yet. Like, maybe in the future.
One Piece is still going strong.
Yeah. Well, so yeah, you're right. So it is kind of like My Hero Academia, and I guess it kind of has to be Black Clover if we're going for like shonen. I don't know.
It's really weird. Like, we're at the stage in the industry, like, we don't know who that third spot will ever really be, because One Piece will go on for fucking ever.
Yeah. Until he dies.
Until Oda, kicks the bucket.
So one thing I want to bring up is is the reason why I feel like Jump is focusing more on Holy Trinity now. So let's go back into our TARDISes real quick.
Oh, nice reference.
And jump back into the 90s era. Now, most manga fans say the 90s era was the golden age for manga, essentially. It's equivalent to like a comic book fan saying like the 60s or 80s is the golden point for comics. I don't know, but
lies and slander.
So, what got me thinking about what gets me saying this, and the reason why the Holy Shonen Trinity is as big as it is now than it was back then, is I have to say time difference. And the reason why I say that is because of take note of the first two generations that we essentially had for the Holy Shonen Trinity: Dragon Ball Z, Slam Dunk, Yu Yu Hakusho. We had One Piece, Hunter x Hunter, and Rurouni Kenshin. Now, my theory to this is that the reason why Jump didn't necessarily care so much about the Holy Shonen Trinity then is because first they weren't trying to, they were actually letting artists flesh out their series now instead of rushing them to get to arc set 35. And two is because of the fact that the Holy Shonen Trinity always had a replacement, Like there was always a heavy hitter to replace another heavy hitter, Like once Dragon Ball Z ended, we had One Piece. Yu Yu Hakusho ended, Togashi made Hunter x Hunter to say fuck you to Jump because he didn't even finish Yu Yu Hakusho. He didn't give Yu Yu Hakusho an ending. And then once Slam Dunk ended, oh boy, we got Rurouni Kenshin. And then it's the same thing with that. Mm-hmm. Once Rurouni Kenshin ended, we got Naruto. Once Hunter x Hunter was on hiatus, we got Bleach. So
I like your point you're making, and I think one of the reasons that the Trinity is kind of weird now is because there wasn't any immediate replacement to anything, right? Because I think when by the time Naruto ended, I remember, because when Naruto ended, Naruto was kind of replaced. I see Naruto's replacement as My Hero Academia. I'm not sure how quickly after Naruto ended. Do you remember, Thurman?
Because I remember My Hero Academia was in 2014, so I don't know what year did Naruto end?
Was it 15 that Naruto ended, or 16?
Come back.
15 or 16, I think. So I guess that would have been an already well established.
Yes. So,
but
with that.
So I see My Hero Academia as the good replacement for that. But I think the big one was Bleach. So like when Bleach ended, it was not only did it end really abruptly, but there was no immediate replacement. Because I don't know if you remember, they tried to replace it with a series called Red Sprite.
I love that series, but
Naruto did? Mm-hmm. God damn, I remember that like it was yesterday. Okay, so the manga ended in 2014, and I guess My Hero Academia, so that really was like the replacement for Naruto, and I think they tried to market it as that for a while. Yeah. So Bleach was a big one, because Bleach, I remember they tried desperately for quite a while, to have a replacement for it. There was the Red Sprite, there was the Demon's Plan, I believe.
Demon's Plan was one.
Yeah, there was a lot that they tried, and that failed. And to this day, I mean, like, I could see Promised Neverland, maybe them trying to, that kind of being the replacement, or
I mean, kind of fits with the overall theme in a way, but
yeah. I mean, like, what would you think that what do you think about that, there, Thurman? The them trying to have a replacement for Bleach but kind of failing.
I feel like the reason for that issue, they were too quick. They were just trying to find. They were like, oh my god, the Holy Shonen Trinity is missing, so we need a new one. They weren't really trying to find out anything new, because remember. I think this is before World Trigger went on hiatus. That a lot of people consider World Trigger to be a candidate for Holy Shonen Trinity. They considered it, but the hiatus. So I think Jump itself has rules, has their own inside rules to what counts as becoming a Holy Shonen Trinity or not. So I feel like they could have replaced Bleach with something that's already in serialization, but that's not what Jump wanted to do. They wanted to, like, a brand new series, and at that time, Bleach ending left such a bad taste in everyone's mouth that they couldn't really find a replacement.
It was real rushed. Like, they fucked that one. And like, because the vibe that every fan got was that they wanted to, like, sweep Bleach to the side to get a bunch of new series. Because when Bleach ended, that was when Shonen was doing the whole, like, look at all these new series, like 12 new series in one. You remember that shit?
Yeah. I remember Love Rush. I remember U19. Like, I remember all these series.
But and I know you're not a huge Bleach fan, but like, you can probably you can admit that, like, they fucked Kubo hard on that one, because they really just gave the vibe that.
I agree.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of Bleach, but you don't do that to someone who's been working with this for years. Now, I think that's very fucked up how they did him.
Yeah, because he was in the magazine for like 15 years.
Something like that.
He was back in the day. He sold some of the most volumes for them, and then they just kind of gave him, like, all right, you got 10 chapters to finish. Go.
You got 10 chapters to finish and no lube.
That's what happens when you don't bow down to your corporate.
Mm-hmm. Well, that was that's we've talked about this too, so I'll make it real quick. But that was, if you're interested, there is an interview with Kubo from after he ended his series, and when he was asked what his best advice for up and coming writers would be, his answer was literally, "Don't listen to your editors," which can only mean bad things for him. I assume if he's saying
I'm
that
still
shit.
shocked that they picked up his one shot.
Yeah. I mean, I assume they had to sit down like, all right, our hatred for the man or potential sales. Money will always win. Yeah, that's also an interesting thing too. Thurman, did you know that Kubo actually has a one shot? Next issue is gonna have a one shot.
It's about witches, I believe. I saw.
It's called Burn the Witch, and apparently it's gonna be like a. I'm pretty sure from something Kubo tweeted out. People were saying it's gonna have like romantic comedy vibes.
Oh boy.
I'm okay with that.
Just give me my slice of life.
That's what. Yeah, I was gonna say you're not even that into shonen action anymore, David. You might like that better. Also, apparently, it's people are thinking from the picture it might be a Yuri. So there you go.
So
I'm okay with this.
Well, get the nut button. Get the nut button.
Back on the hype train here. So where is that? It's a time difference, right? So I like how you added Bleach there. So my thing is not me personally. It's not HST is not official, but I feel like the new Shonen Trinity now is One Piece still, My Hero Academia, and Black Clover. These are the series that people.
They seem to be the ones that people are talking about the most. Yeah.
Even if Black Clover is infamous now, people are still talking about it. That's the sad part about all the haters who say Black Clover shouldn't be talked about. Well, if you keep talking about
it. No, see, that's the thing. I've never said it shouldn't be talked about. I just want it to be known that the main character is Cancer.
Okay,
like,
so Thurman.
Saying you should be talked about, but I mean, infamous stuff still works. Infamous people are still liked.
Attention is good attention.
Exactly.
Yeah, right. All right.
Well, David's got something to say, Thurman.
So Thurman, do you think the fucking ranking system ties into the Holy Shonen Trinity as much as everything else that we've talked about here?
I don't think so, because it seems, me personally, it seems to be more about what's talked about a lot and sales.
But taking a little bit of a page from Thurman here, posting all the fucking ranking systems and all that shit in there, I've noticed like those that are on the Holy Shonen Trinity seem to get a lot of the cover photos, a lot of the most attention on like, oh, this is. If you look inside like the actual magazine and stuff, you see more adverts for those series. Like you see, more anime news for them. You see more.
Oh yeah, and like you can even see one of the reasons the Shonen Trinity became a thing. Like even though it's unofficial, go back to any Shonen cover from like 2005, 2007. It's Naruto, Luffy, Ichigo. You know what
exactly.
I mean? Until they decided to have a hate boner for Kubo and then just kind of like erase Bleach from existence.
But like even then, like you were still getting like if there was a game for Bleach, you were still getting it if there was like a new like when they had the Bleach trading card game, you got a Bleach trading card in one of the fucking the magazines even.
Well, I wonder but like the reason I don't think rankings have much to do with it is because for a while, I mean, Bleach was getting pretty low rankings and it was still selling well,
Yeah, but also like you've stated many a times, like the volume sales way into that as well. Like that's why the ranking system's such a fucking
volume is the most important thing. The volume sales.
Yep.
That's where the author makes the money. That's where they like series that have shitty like Hunter x Hunter. When it's in the magazine, it actually gets pretty average rate rankings. It's usually somewhere in the middle.
Yep.
But the volumes sell fucking like amazingly. So,
right.
So they gave
that's why Robot X Laser Beam stayed around.
Rip in peace.
That's why it stayed around for so long, because the volume sales were pretty decent from what I've read into. So
to answer your question, David, I'm gonna have to go to Red and say no. I feel like it depends. I feel like for the starting point, yes. If a series starts off essentially bad in the lower rankings, and then it gets its first volume, and then the volume doesn't sell well, I think that's kind of like the whole situation. I feel like the Holy Shonen Trinity is more of like a hit or miss, you know. But the thing is though about the Holy Shonen Trinity that's kind of interests me is that people may agree or disagree upon it, but people still essentially have the same series all in. People are very unified when it comes to the Holy Shonen Trinity in certain aspects. Like everyone agrees that My Hero Academia is definitely one of them.
Yeah, yeah.
People think Boruto is, but I'm sorry, Boruto
No,
isn't.
it's not.
Even,
Naruto has outlived its lifespan. I hear no one talking about it.
Yeah, Boruto is isn't leaving the gap at Naruto. But for Neverworld, thinks Boruto is, but
he's a fucking fanboy.
So
He's a Sasuke fan.
I throw the shade. Like for Neverworld, he's cringe, man. Maybe he's a nice guy in real life, but your videos are cringe. All right, and we have aspects of cringe, but I try not to be that cringe.
So my thing is, here's how I look at the Holy Trinity, right? I see it as I had a good analogy in my head. I consider it like a battlefield, right? So you have your top three commanders, and then you have like the ones under them. So if we take the third generation of Holy Trinity into account, we have One Piece, Bleach, Naruto. The top three, you see them everywhere, every magazine. They have multiple games, multiple blah blah blah, spin-offs, whatever. And then we have stuff that was popular, but not as popular as those. We had our Gintamas, we had our Kuroko no Basket, we had Nesikoi, we had all these series that didn't really qualify for the Holy Shonen Trinity, but they're still popular enough to get, animes, games. People still know what they are. Toriko, people consider Toriko to be a Holy Shonen Trinity candidate.
Yeah, Toriko, the magazine tried really hard to advertise it as such.
If the anime wasn't utter ass.
The anime kind of fucked that one, honestly.
Yeah, so it's like even then you can see that Toriko's on the cover of J-Stars when it was first released. Mm-hmm. It's he's on the cover. So we have Naruto, Ichigo, Luffy, and then we had Toriko. Even Toriko Toei had a collaboration with One Piece for the first episode of the anime. So that there are certain Jump really realizes that what sells isn't just the Holy Trinity, it's the other stuff, but it sort of like leads the charge in a way. You always have things that essentially, I wouldn't call them mascots, but technically it's what they are. The Holy Trinity are basically mascots for time.
Pretty much.
That's what they were.
Yeah. I agree with that.
So
it just cringes chaos on.
Well, I mean, here's why it's like sometimes it's like it's interesting to kind of like see. So moving to Jump Force, the reason I want to talk about Jump Force is like you can kind of like tell what Shonen considers the Trinity by the three that they announced three immediately, and it was Goku, Naruto, and Luffy. And not only is that the biggest shaft to Bleach, because Bleach gets announced like 2 days later in like a fucking magazine article somewhere, like, oh, also Bleach is here. But
also you get the fucking
that orange-haired fuck guy, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that anytime, because I'm assuming, Thurman, you've seen that they're also like when Japan hosts the Olympics, they're gonna have a bunch of their characters, like the Naruto one. Have you seen that one?
Yeah.
The Japanese Olympics also Naruto, Luffy, Goku. So not only is it such you can tell that Shonen tries to pretend that Bleach never happened, but it almost seems like they still consider the forever Shonen Trinity as Naruto, One Piece, and Dragon Ball Z. And I wonder, like, how long in the future, like, is there ever going to be a point in the future where, like, we're getting a game announced and the first three characters aren't Naruto, Luffy, Goku, but it's Izuku, Asta, insert another one here. You know what I mean? Like, because right now it's
seriously, you're always going to have Goku. I mean,
fucking. Ugh.
So I'm going to say yes. But it's gonna be tricky because right now I feel like, and I'm gonna say what I feel like right now is why people are so conflicted on Holy Shonen Trinity to earlier years is because the Holy Shonen Trinity was such a small thing back then, and we already knew the theories that were blatantly put out there. I feel like Jump understands what the Holy Shonen Trinity is, but I feel like Jump like unintentionally made the Shonen Trinity a thing just by putting those 3 series for the generation out
Yep.
there. They were trying to, like, if you take Yu Yu Hakusho and Slam Dunk and Sakuma Z, for example, Jump kept pushing those series out there, and now everyone knows what they are. So it's gonna be like, oh, the top 3 series that people are talking about now, and blah 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 blah. Blah. But till now, there's more than 3 series that people are talking about. That time of, oh, we have to pick our favorite 3 is kind of gone, if you catch my drift, you know?
Yep.
So right now, Jump is at a point to where they're never gonna, it's kind of like a video game company. They're never gonna get rid of their main IPs or their main characters that everyone knows, right? Goku's gonna be there regardless, like Mario's gonna be there, you know? I'm trying to think of another famous, like, Yusuke's still gonna be there, just like Zelda's gonna be there, you know?
I get you.
You know, so these are just recognizable characters. But now, the reason why I feel the Shonen Trinity is kind of changing now is because of how bigger it's gotten and how confused people are. About which, because people think that One Piece should stop being it. It should just go away.
Nah.
We should have a new.
There are people
Honestly,
that think that though.
I mean, eventually, but not till it's over. You know, either if it's over or if it starts losing popularity, but that's not going to happen.
See,
Yeah, honestly,
there were people that thought that about fucking Dragon Ball in the day, and there are still people that think about Dragon Ball like that. Like, it should just go away. Like, as long as it continues to sell, we're going to continue to see more series. We're going to continue to see, like, we have this Dragon Ball Heroes bullshit that's on now. That's non-canon, but people are eating it up because you got, like, fucking Super Saiyan Blue versus Super Saiyan 4. Which one's stronger? The testosterone's building, you know, shit like that. You're still going to see him.
Can't escape from crossing fates.
Right. You're still going to see it, you know, as a relevant thing until it stops to see sales. Just like Bleach, as much as I loved the series at one point, like, it started dipping in sales, and then they continued to be like, the editors kept putting pressure on Kubo,
Mm-hmm.
like, boom, and then it faded into obscurity because, you know, the ending sucked. Because they rushed him, but you still see him represented because at one point he was the mascot for Shonen Jump, and
Yep.
that's what people need to start to realize. Like, the Trinity is, like you said, Thurman, they are kind of the mascots for the Jump magazines.
So I think a good way to look into it is like what's appearing on the covers, right? And I do see Emma a lot, and Promise Neverland gets a lot of like, I think popularity-wise, Promise Neverland could be considered up there. But I gotta be honest, I don't know if other people are thinking the same way I am. But if Promise Neverland doesn't step its game up, it could very well lose that popularity that it gained through its first arc.
And it's going to be another Bleach.
Yeah.
Because Bleach survived on that legacy of, like, that first arc for the longest fucking time.
Mm-hmm.
And then it continued to, you know, dip in quality because the editors kept pushing Kubo to do different shit, you know, get to the Soul Reapers, you know, get to the Soul Society shit, get to the Visor arc, you know. Kind of like Toriyama back in the day, like, this villain sucks, you can't end it here,
Yeah.
So my question to you two is this. First, I have 2 questions, but I'll say the last question towards the end.
Well, this probably is the wrap up of the video, Thurman.
Okay. So my first question to you two is: right now, out of all the manga that you've had the chance to read, David, I know you probably read the same as I do. Like, no bias, no nothing, just street realism. What 3 manga? Well, I guess I could say 2 manga.
No, what I'll do is I'll actually, you know, invalidate One Piece from this argument, because eventually we're wrapping up One Piece at this point. Like,
it does seem to be in the final stretch.
So
okay, so right now, your 3 manga that you think could be potential Shonen Trinity. I would say either candidates or like new.
So here's where I'm going to get some hate. I'm going to say, obviously, we're going to get My Hero Academia in there. You know, no hate for that one. As much as I hate myself for saying this, I have to give credit to Black Clover. It was pretty up there for the candidacy. And then the other one, I'm going to say no for Promised Neverland right off the bat, because until it picks itself up, I see it fading into that Bleach obscurity.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to actually say, Hot Springs.
Problem is I don't know what that is.
So, what do you think, Thurman?
What is that?
It's It's a very, very obscure manga that's...
So I'm
kinda-
guessing you're assuming it's going to pick up in
Well,
popularity?
it's got an anime coming out.
You hold this for a bit.
It's got an anime coming out, if I'm not mistaken, right, Thurman? Thurman
died.
Hold on 1 second.
Well, here, elaborate.
So it's kind of in that Nesikoi level of, popularity right now, which picked up immediately right after the anime came out. And
That's true, yeah.
And then it dipped once the manga ended. See, there's always one of those in the Shonen Trinity. Like, there's that one that immediately skyrockets in popularity, Bleach, and then it sinks.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I'm back. So, Red, did you do yours?
No, David just finished his. He wanted thoughts on his though.
So I said, like, the Hot Springs would be my third one instead of, like, A Promised Neverland and Dr. Stone.
Okay, that is interesting because if Yuna and the Hot Springs is actually pretty popular right now, it's getting anime that's coming out actually this season. I don't know how the manga volume sales are. I'll have to look that up. But I mean, it'd be interesting because it would be like the first harem to actually be in the Shonen Trinity because there have been harem series in Jump before. Very popular harem series. In fact, we have Nesikoi, Ichigo 100%. We had one early 90s that was kind of IS or some shit like that. It was like an I and like a dash S. That was the name of the series. And then we had True Love Ru, but that was monthly, I believe. So
exactly. That's why I was saying, like, it's reaching that Nesikoi level of popularity because of the anime. And once the anime for Nesikoi came out, like, it skyrocketed in its popularity. And then near the end of the manga, it tanked because, well, we could have an entire different video about that.
yeah, the fans' best girl didn't win, but that's a different topic for later. So, I would say that's pretty viable. All of them are pretty well known. They're getting animes, and I wouldn't doubt it. So yeah.
All right, Red, you're...
So, I gotta be honest. Like, My Hero Academia is obviously up there. First, let me define what the whole Trinity is to me. Right, I'm not describing like the three anime that I love the most or anything. It's what is gonna be in all the posters. What's gonna be on all the covers. What's gonna be the big ones that are always talked about, the new generation. And to me, it does feel like, even though I'm not a big fan of Black Clover would be on there as well, because what people want are long-running series with an action element at least somewhere in there. It doesn't have to be as heavily focused on action as it was in the past. They can be a little bit smarter, but still. And even though I'm not a fan of where Promised Neverland's going, I do see the big three as, currently, if I had to choose, it would be Promised Neverland, Black Clover, and My Hero Academia. And the reason I say Promised Neverland is because the popularity is fucking immense. And even though the quality is dipping, I could see Promised Neverland lasting on its premise alone for quite a while. Because, you gotta be honest, the big three is carried by... Put yourself back in middle school, when you were okay with watching shit like Dragon Ball Z. You didn't really care about the stupidity of the plot or if it dipped in quality. You just were like, well, that's a cool premise. And, like if you're a kid, you don't care that it's horribly paced. You don't care that the strategy is You're going to be like, whoa, they all got guns and they're shooting that dude. Oh, my God. So I can still see Promised Neverland surviving and being, as long as it doesn't like dip so bad it's like absolutely unreadable, I can see Promised Neverland it's still gonna have the covers, it's still gonna have the color pages. I don't see it going anywhere. As much as I would like to see Dr. Stone fill that place, I don't see it happening because Dr. Stone, while it's a great premise, to me, I don't think it focuses enough on fighting to be that popular. And that's just kind of the shame of what people look for, what gets popular. Is a very... Togashi put this very well in an interview. When he finished Yu Yu Hakusho, he sat down and asked himself, what kind of manga do I want to write next? And he even talked about how, he thought about writing a different genre, but he saw that the manga that got really popular were manga that had clear winners and losers. That was how he worded it. Manga, a series that has clear winners and losers. People like that. People, unfortunately, sometimes like to think simply, and they don't like these. So he wanted to write a manga that had clear winners and losers because that's what gets popular. But you can do that in a complex way. So I think that the Holy Shonen Trinity will always be manga that have clear winners and losers. That can be sports manga where your team either wins or loses. That can be stuff like this right now where there was the plan to get out of the thing and they won, in Promised Neverland, to get out of that camp. So I think that that's what you're going to see. So that's why I don't think you're ever going to see a horror manga or anything like that in there. I think that that's also why I don't think you're going to see Dr. Stone either, because Dr. Stone doesn't have like isolated fights. Like, all right, we're fighting now and we're doing it. Dr. Stone is a more complex, strategy-based, science-based, creation-based thing, and it's one of those sad things where it's almost too complicated for its own good. Not for me, I enjoy it, but if we're going off of what's going to be popular, it's gotta have a more simplistic nature. That's why things like My Hero Academia are good for this, because it has an underlying complex tone, like the whole, where we're dealing with society and the society's perception of heroes and how you have to make sure to keep the perception positive, otherwise society could collapse. And then someone that's actually watching it and looking for a deeper meaning can look at that and watch it for that, but someone that's watching it for action can just turn off their brain and see, yay, superheroes! So I think anything that's in the big three has to have two layers to it. A layer that more complexity that
super
people,
smart Evangelion style.
Yeah,
dissection.
They have to have a layer of that, but not be so complex that people can't just jump in. And I think that that's one of the reasons that Hunter x Hunter may be popular, but I don't think it's ever going to be in the Shonen Trinity again, even if it came back from a hiatus, because you have chapters that are just dialogue, and that's not going to excite any middle schoolers.
Yeah, it was in the second generation of Hunter x Hunter for a time.
Well, let's not forget too. At that point in Hunter x Hunter, it was a lot less complex than it is now.
Now we're diving into politics and mafia subplots and bullshit. That's you've got this
Game of Thrones shit.
Yeah, you've literally entered into the Game of Thrones era. Fucking Hunter x Hunter. Nice reference there.
I'm gonna quickly tell mine, and then I'm gonna ask you guys one more question, and then we can end this off here.
All right.
Mine, this is very simple. Not non-biased, not anything. From what I've seen, I would have to say My Hero Academia, Black Clover, yeah. It may seem like I'm not being biased there, but I'm not. And then for the third one has always been tricky to me.
Oh yeah.
I've always so here are the three that I think will be candidates. Royal Sugar was on hiatus, but it is, so that's whatever. I consider Dr. Stone, The Promised Neverland, and Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba to be 3.
I don't see Dr. Stone doing it, man. Like, it's not.
Kimetsu no Yaiba, though, I could see being there.
If Slam Dunk could make it, so could Dr. Stone.
No, dude, Slam Dunk had a clear winners and losers.
But I mean, okay, I understand
You have to put your mind in the simplistic middle school mode.
Okay,
Like,
you can say.
You think kids are gonna be like, "Whoa, he made a fucking cell phone battery. This gets me hard."
I was just saying it could be a candidate. It could make it end, but it could be a candidate. Now, I could consider the reason why I consider Kimetsu no Yaiba one for higher up to even Promised Neverland is one. I really hope, because it's sorry to pull a SJW feminist here, but I believe the mangaka is a woman, which I think would be great.
I'll Google
that. Because if it is, then because I heard in the Discord someone said it was Kimetsu no Yaiba written by a woman, I believe. If that's true, then that's great, because that means that empowerment for women is great. I love that. And 2, because Kimetsu no Yaiba is a series that is very underrated right now. And it's getting an anime. I would love to get you guys into that, so you guys can start reading the manga. It's very different from what we've seen in Jump so far.
Hey, Thurman, how do you spell that? I'll look it up for you, but I don't know how to spell that shit.
K-I-M-E.
All right, David's got it. Sorry.
Okay. So, with that being said, I feel like it would be a great change in step because for my thing, for you being a home of Shonen Trinity, you have to have something that breaks away from every other manga and Jump.
Yeah, at least
If
your
you
main
look-
premise, yes.
Yeah, if you look at Dragon Ball Z, Yu Yu Hakusho, and Slam Dunk, at the time, I'm pretty sure basketball manga weren't really that popular. We had soccer manga, but basketball manga, fairly popular. And then we had Dragon Ball Z, which was original for its time, I guess. And then Yu Yu Hakusho, the same thing.
Oof, there's like almost
Next up, we have One Piece. There's not really much of any pirate manga, so that was unique. We had Rurouni Kenshin, and people in Japan is very historical based, so that the Edo period is very popular, so obviously that's going to gain popularity. And then Hunter x Hunter was because Togashi is Togashi. Why else? And then
Yeah,
One
we're not
Piece-
finding anything on the author.
Okay, so here's how. I don't know if it's a fucking mystery. They don't have a Wikipedia page, and even on the wiki here, dude, look at this. On the My Anime List page, it even they call them a their role. So I don't know if people don't know or if it's just I can't find anything on this person.
Oh my god!
Oh, we got
She
it.
portrays herself as a crocodile wearing
Oh,
glasses.
all right. This website says she. So
That was my
Okay.
anime list. So yeah, I mean, it's
that'd be cool. Yeah.
So each one. So we had Naruto, which ninjas were done before, and then we had Bleach, which Shinigami. But
ninjas.
a lot of people say Bleach was trying to copy Yu Yu Hakusho, but that's neither hero there.
Some aspects, but it wasn't like a blatant ripoff.
Yeah. So and the reason, so My Hero Academia is obviously breaking that. You have the hero situation. It's more so Americanized. That's not too much, but the ideas of heroes is sort of kind of the West.
To me, it's not. You're thinking a little bit too broadly. It's not just the main concept, but it's what they do with the concept. Someone
Yeah,
could come
yeah.
along and do ninjas again, but they'd have to do them in a different light. So
Yeah,
one of the reasons
so-
that My Hero Academia works is because of it's not focusing on the heroes as much as it's focusing on society's perception of heroes. So one of the reasons I like it is like when you read a Marvel comic and Superman comes down and he's like, "Ha think like
Wait. Marvel and Superman never go in the same goddamn sentence. You
Oh,
fucking
okay.
heathen.
This is how I don't give a potato salad fuck about fucking
American
comics. I apologize. I will watch the movies though. But
Feel free to roast Red in the comments.
feel free to know that manga's better in every way. Let's see.
You
But
say that, but you still get beam struggles in
And
fucking
then-
Dragon Ball Z.
And then we have.
Hi,
so-
bitch! I was talking. No, but one of the reasons. So, like, what I see as unique about My Hero Academia is like, think back to like an old like '50s comic, and you know how they would be like, like All Might's kind of exemplifying the whole like, haha, I am here. Like never fear, Superman is here. You know what I mean? The reason that. What My Hero Academia is basically diving into why do superheroes do that? Why do they smile like that? Why do they put on a persona? Why not just save people? Like, because Endeavor is kind of like the person who just saves people, whatever, I did it. But All Might's realizing that when you're a superhero, the reason you do that is to instill confidence and maintain the status quo. So, like, I like that it dives a lot into the society's perception of the hero, and I think it also is different in the sense that Deku never asked to be the best hero, he just wanted to be a hero. And so instead of Deku saying, I want to be the best blankety blank, it's more of All Might saying, no, you have to be. This is not a choice. This is what you have to do. So even though heroes have been done before, it was done, the concept, the goals, it's all done in such a different way. That's why it stands out.
Yeah. So, and then you basically explained that perfectly. And then Kimetsu no Yaiba is, I would say, how the fights work, it's very unique. Using breaths as a fighting style, I think, is an
Using what?
interesting thing. Breath.
What's he saying?
Breath.
Breasts?
Breath.
Breaths. Okay,
Yeah.
I thought you said using breasts as a fighting style, and I was like, "Are you serious? Are you taking this seriously right now? Like you were
Wait.
saying it like it was normal."
Wait. And we're not in Keijo territory here.
Using breasts as a fighting style. Here we go.
They use swords, and then the breath, how they manipulate their breath.
It's so perfect because it sounds like breasts every time. Manipulate their breasts, bro. I'll manipulate your breasts.
How they manipulate their breath. Is very. You have to read it. It explains it better than I could. But it's a fine style, and that's very
Let's not
unique.
pull Momo-kun here, Red.
So I understand that. And Black Clover, now I wouldn't say magic is unique. Neither are grimoires, because grimoires are very. I wouldn't honestly. I feel like grimoires, when it comes to magical stuff, grimoires aren't used very well. I feel like if anything, like stuff like wands or incantations or staffs are more used in magical-based stuff than grimoires are. But in any case, what separates Black Clover from everything is how it's kind of plays with you a bit. Black Clover fights are
He does that when
people consider to be like fairy tale-ish, but they're not. Anyone who actually reads Black Clover knows that Tabata really hates the one-shot type deal thing. Every fight is done by teamwork. Like every fight makes sense. David, you can attest to this since you're reading it. Every fight, like Asta hasn't really won a fight on his own. It reminds me of how One Piece does power levels to a good degree. Because One Piece, Luffy's only like a few people that Luffy has soloed on his own. But for the most part, and someone in a group chat explained it better, Luffy has every fight Luffy has gone through. Every fight Luffy has gone
on top, like sitting on top of it. Okay, so remember you said manipulate the breasts, and I got you remember in JoJo Part 3 when that one woman has the metal shit in her bra and it looks like her boobs are moving, and then he's like, yeah. I had to put that give up.
So
all right, you take it off now.
So One Piece. So One Piece.
One Piece self-explanatory. It's amazing. It's got amazing world building. We need to wrap this video up. It's getting long, Thurman.
All right. So essentially, those are my three: Black Clover, Kimetsu no Yaiba, and My Hero Academia. Now, my final question to you two is: which generation of Holy Shonen Trinity is your favorite?
Naruto, Bleach, One Piece, because of it was mine. That was my generation, and I have a lot of good memories of.
I gotta agree with Red there, because that's when I started more getting into anime and manga and shit. So yeah, that generation. Now, I dove back into the archives essentially and enjoyed, Kenshin. I enjoyed fucking Dragon Ball Z when I was a kid as well.
Yu Yu
Hakusho, your Hunter x Hunters, shit like that, obviously. But what really, was my first, generation that I lived through and experienced firsthand was obviously and I wasn't a One Piece fan at the time. Like, I lived through that Naruto, Bleach, One Piece generation. And now I'm just confused what's going to be where.
Well, I think that's what to take from this video. That's the lesson. Nothing needs to be anywhere. We don't need a Shonen Trinity. We just have series that are good and popular, and they should all be given a fair chance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you have final thoughts on this? Final summary thoughts, Thurman?
No, just my favorite generation is probably the second gen. One Piece, Rurouni Kenshin, and Yu Yu Hakusho. Yeah, if I was talking about favorite, I was talking about this unannounced favorites right now. I really like Black Clover and My Hero Academia, so that's pretty about it.
All right.
All right.
Good shit. Peace.